Hello, welcome to the admittedly belated History Through Games video for this week. I apologize for not doing one last week, but last week was pretty tiring and I had to do quite a bit of work to get that long Yavuz video done. Haven't already watched that one? Go take a look. That's a fairly long video by my standards. This one, on the other hand, will be nowhere near as long. The second of the U-boat missions in Frontline is not a particularly long one. Albeit mostly because going around through a U-boat doesn't really take very long. Those things aren't exactly big. That being said, if you've never played the original Medal of Honor, this is going to not very much feel like Allied Assault, which is the one you probably have played. Allied Assault didn't have anywhere near as much focus on inside the U-boat as this one does. That being said, let's get into the mission. Again, I am not going to read this, and not just because I do not want to butcher French. Manon, of course, is both the protagonist of Underground, and she crops up a bit in the early Medal of Honor games. Specifically, she does show up in Allied Assault to help you out when you're undercover in France there. So if you are familiar with the name, it's probably from that game. If only because I figure more people have played Allied Assault than the original Medal of Honor, and definitely more than have played Underground. As I said in the last video, you really don't want to be throwing grenades around inside a U-boat. It probably wouldn't break the hull, but do you really want to play with that risk? I mean, not that it's not risky going around shooting a freaking Garand inside one, but you know. That is your hint to the secondary objectives right there, and I am definitely not going to try and pronounce the French at the bottom of the screen. Now, to begin the actual gameplay. I really do love these opening intro screens on Frontline. They're really well done. Kind of miss stuff like that in modern games.
Mann, ist die Kiste schwer. Was hat ein Schaf da drinne? Das Zeug ist schwer wie Blei.
One wonders why they don't take the, just look inside the crate. It's not like I'm hiding inside a box you can't see inside of. But, video game logic. Bye-bye. You would think it would have killed them to give me a silenced pistol, but, whatever. Like, seriously, how do they not see the guy crouching inside that crate? Imagine being on a toilet and hearing some guy shooting in your submarine. And I forgot to change sensitivity. That's going to be problematic. On the other hand, I have an MP40 now. Which is a good point of any to seg you into the MP40. The MP38 was a bit, even by German standards, difficult to produce. So you have, just like with the MG42 and MG34, the MP40, which is cheaper and easier to make. 32 round magazine, 9mm. I'm going to stop here because I need to talk about that guy. So, you're looking at a submachine gun that has a very low rate of fire, very easy to control. Admittedly, if you're someone who thinks you need a .45 caliber bullet to put someone down, it's low caliber, but 9mm is perfectly fine. Nicknamed the burp gun because of how it sounds. I'm not sure how well it's going to carry over through the video game, considering how old it is. A lot of MP40s were used, and if there's any gun that signifies, I can word, I promise, Nazi Germany, it's definitely the MP40. Maybe you can make an argument for the SGG-44, but I'd say it's the MP40. Now, for the Fat Chef. You run into that guy at multiple points in this game. Every time you think you kill him, he shows back up. Right through the last mission, actually, I think. Or is it the one before the last one? Anyway, you see this guy pop up a lot over the course of this game. Each time, he is more and more bandaged up, so you know it is legitimately the same guy. There's not just a bunch of fat chefs running through German bases. It's kind of a little funny Easter egg if you pay attention to it. Also, just because he's throwing knives at you doesn't mean he can't kill you. Those knives are very, very dangerous. Look how much health I just lost. I'm fairly certain if steam bursts like that on a U-boat, you'd be having some pretty big problems. Who said old shooters can't have platforming? I know it's not really platforming, but the joke had to be made. Unless I find some medkits, I'm not going to get gold on this one, but I'm not really playing for the... Oh, never mind. Well, that said, I'm still not playing for getting high ranking. I also think blowing something up like that's probably not going to do good things for it. You know, like so. At least no water's getting in. If water got into these batteries, we would be kind of dying at the moment. I don't know enough about the intricacies of U-boats to say if this piping is accurate or not, but for level design, it makes sense. That said, the idea that you have a lower level on a World War II type... Is this Type 7 or a Type 9? Anyway, the idea that you have 2 levels on a U-boat strikes me as... questionable? But again, I don't know the intricacies of U-boats that well.
Erlaubnis zum Anlegen am Steg 11. Anlegemanöver fortsetzen.
They don't see me. I don't know why I'm whispering, but they don't see me.
Langsame Fahrt.
Nice offset, guys. Where is that Enigma machine? There's the Enigma. Of course, we don't actually steal the Enigma machine, we just steal the instructions for it, which are around here somewhere. Alright, they're inside. Right, they're inside there. That's where they are. There we go. I think most people know the Enigma machine. Very complex coding, but it relied mostly on changing the ciphers. once the code was broken, it wasn't as good as it could have been, because the Germans didn't realize it was broken. And yeah, Allied code breaking is something I really need to go into at some point. It's quite an interesting topic. And there we go. That's the end of that mission. Told you it was short. That's actually a surprisingly high hit rate for me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this relatively short video, and I'll see you in the next one.